I was expecting to hate the 49ers pick, and I don't. What's up? The round one is going on right now. The Niners picked. They took Mykel Williams, defensive end from Georgia. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch just spoke. I guess that means they're done for the night. They could trade into round one, but it doesn't seem like they will. One pick, one team, one round, one destiny. What do you think of Mykel Williams to the 49ers?
I have mixed feelings about it, honestly, Grant. I do have mixed feelings about it. I think he's shown that he's good against the run in Georgia's defense, the 4-eye. He plays a little bit more inside in college than he's going to on the 49ers. He's never played that far outside position. Now he has all the measurables to do it and do it well at 6'5", 260, whatever he is. An absolute beast unit. When you look at him, he looks the part. You know, Alden Smith type size. He could be a great player. On the pass rush side, not as much production as you would honestly hope for. I mean, Robert Beal played at Georgia, had more sacks in a year than Mykel did. Now, I'm not saying Mykel's not going to be good. I'm not out on Mykel. I'm not like super hyped about Mykel. I'm like a little surprised and kind of TBD because he has all the measurables you want, just not the production so far on the pass rush side. On the run side, I think it's an improvement.
I like the pick. I mean, I feel like there was no like home run grand slam pick at 11, but they could have taken. I mean, look who went after him.
I mean, there's guys
Colson
like Walker,
Tyler Booker went the next pick. I like Mykel Williams better than Tyler Booker. Kenneth Grant went after that. Both run defenders. Maybe Mykel Williams has more upside as a pass rusher than Kenneth Grant. Then Tyler Warren. The Niners weren't in the market for him. Jalen Walker. Who would you prefer?
I kind of like Jalen Walker better. I think Walker. What did Walker have? 17 sacks, something crazy,
something like that.
And you're talking about Mykel had 5. So you know it's weird because again, I'm not out on him, so don't everybody get all upset with me. I'm just kind of like filling it out. I got to see how it plays out because he has the body to be fantastic. He's never played wide outside, never asked to do what he's going to be asked to do on the 49ers. He's built like a guy that can do it, but is he going to be able to? We don't know. Possibly. He's definitely like exciting size-wise. I just, you know, production's really not there. And what's funny, the funniest thing, and I'll get your take on this is why you don't trust coach speak, right? John Lynch came out last week talking about, you know, measurables, whatever, you know, but at some point you have to have production. And then he drafts really for measurables, in my opinion.
Well, to me, drafting for measurables would have been taking Shamar Stewart. And I'm glad they didn't take Shamar Stewart. I wouldn't have liked that pick at all. I would have given that like a C. I think this is a much safer pick. Like what we know about Mykel Williams is 1, he's super young, but 2, I felt that way. And John Lynch just said that Chris Kasarik felt this way. Best edge setter in the class, best run defender of the defensive ends in the class. So obviously, you don't want to just take like a one-trick pony run defender only with the 11th pick. But that's his baseline. Young player who's a great run defender. And he has like all of the physical attributes to become a good pass rusher like Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart would have had to develop into a pass rusher as well. So like the only other person, I mean, if you're taking a defensive end at 11, I don't know who else you would have taken. Like I like James Pierce, but it's clear they want like a 3-down, not a one-trick pony. They want someone who's clearly a better run defender than Nick Bosa, and that's what they got. I'm surprised. I mean, Gus Bradley and Robert Saleh, they were on the Legion of Boom. That team drafted Bruce Irvin in round 1. That guy was light, but the league has changed a lot since then. The Eagles are kind of the team that everyone's trying to catch, and if you can't stop the run, you can't beat them. So now the Niners are putting themselves in a position where they can actually stop the run. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm hopeful about it. Like playing wide outside in the wide 9, though, he's never done it. So like he did it in Georgia when he was there. So I'm hopeful. I mean, he looks fantastic. I'm not out on Mykel Williams. I don't want people to think that at all. I'm just and you know, when you look at things, right? Like I wanted them to go O-line in the first round, trade back, get Simmons. That's what I wanted. The defensive tackles I really wasn't high on in the first round. You know, you can get, to me, almost, I like Tyleik Williams in the second round. And maybe Simmons will fall all the way to the Niners in the second round. Who knows? So they might be able to pull it off there. And if you're going to draft high early, defensive end is a good position to get. And we know the Niners prioritize that as second only to quarterback. So it makes sense in that regard. I just haven't seen the production in this type of system to where I'm like super confident about it.
Yeah, like I would compare him to Aldon Smith just in terms of body type. But Aldon Smith, his rookie year at Missouri, I believe he had like 10 sacks. So, and then when he came to the 49ers, he was a complete work in progress as a run defender. They didn't even play him in the base defense his rookie year. So Mykel's going to be the opposite. He's going to be ready to go on first and second down as a D end, as a rookie. So he's advanced. He's more advanced than Aldon in that way. But when it comes to actually rushing the quarterback, I asked John Lynch, I was like, what's the upside for him? You're talking about him as an edge setter and a run defender, and that's very important. But what's the upside for him as a pass rusher? And he kept talking about he really likes that he can rush from the interior. And I don't think that they're looking at him as a D end, a base D end who rushes only from the interior. I think they feel that he can do both. But it kind of scares me when you take a defensive end, you start talking about moving him to defensive tackle. Like, that's the kind of stuff the Niners did with Solomon Thomas. And I'm not saying he's Solomon Thomas, but like, does he have a position? And if this guy's eventual best spot is like rushing from the interior, like Charles Omenihu or Arden Key or Yatur Gross-Matos, they probably won't be. I think they're envisioning a guy who's going to actually dominate off the edge like Aldon did once upon a time.
Yeah, and I think you have to envision it because you didn't get to see it in college. Sometimes he would rush inside the tackles. So you know, a lot of stunts that he ran.
That's true.
Technique as from a pass rushing standpoint, his technique is not quite developed either. But he's super young. I'm trying to show like the balance in this because again, I'm not out on him. I'm not like crazy confident in him. But one thing I will say, he's only 20. But all he has right now from a pass rushing standpoint is speed and power. Doesn't have anything else there. But you know, if you like big, strong, fast guys, he's definitely the guy.
Speed, power, length too. And I think what's interesting is like a lot of people, I feel like this pick, a lot of people figured it out. It's either going to be Mykel Williams or Shamar Stewart. They're similar body types. Shamar Stewart went 17 to Cincinnati. So they were in some, like it's the same tier. And some people felt, you know, I want the athlete. Give me the athlete. I don't give it like Shamar Stewart has less production than Mykel Williams, but he's faster. He's just a better athlete. Some people want those traits. I didn't feel that way. I felt like, give me the better football player. Both of them have upside, and both of them are works in progress as pass rushers. Both of them have size, length, and power. Give the better football player to Chris Kasarik because it seems like Shamar Stewart is a complete project from the ground up, whereas Mykel Williams already has a very high floor.
Yeah, and that makes sense too. The thing with him also to keep in mind is two things. He's had a little bit of injury. Had a foot surgery, had an ankle injury. Now,
high ankle sprain that's been lingering. It's a lingerer.
Yeah. So that's a bad thing. But the good thing is he played through it quite a bit. And
Aldon Smith was the same way at Missouri. He had a down year his sophomore year, but he was playing through like a broken ankle or something. Niners love that.
Yeah, they like that about him. So his production, you have to, you know, Fred Warner didn't play so well towards the end of last year because he was dealing with the foot thing, but he played through it. So, you know, keep that in mind also. I think for me, like it's just going to be, you know, it's the same thing with all of these guys. It's TBD. We got to see how it plays out. He has all the measurables. I keep saying that to be great. He's just never played wide outside, and he's never produced more than 5 sacks in a season. So from a pass rushing standpoint, that's a concern. Now, popping him inside and letting him stop the run, he's shown that he does a great job there. A high percentage of his tackles were behind the line of scrimmage. So he's good as a run stopper for sure.
You know, it's funny. Just now, after the pick, John, Kyle talk, and talking about what they like about him. And I don't know, Kyle's smart, and he can probably anticipate narratives. And my narrative right now with this is like, this is a Saleh pick. This shows who's running the show. Saleh's back in town. His voice matters. Nick Sorensen never could have pulled this off, but Saleh did. And when he made the pick, or when the Niners made the pick, Jed York went out and was like, Saleh's back in town, the trenches. So to me, I'm thinking like, man, Kyle, you really had to take a back seat to your defensive coordinator this time. Can't take a tight end this year. No wide receiver this year. And he's like, no, you know what? This is the guy we wanted all. I told my wife, and she was looking at mock drafts, and she saw Mykel Williams go 28. She thought we were nuts, but they said that they were actually considering trading up for Mykel Williams. That's how much they liked him. Kyle said he liked him. I still feel like this to me is an indication that Robert Saleh has a whole lot of sway and power in this organization. It's not like he's Nick Sorensen.
Yeah, and the other thing about him that they really liked is the personality. And Niners draft heavily for that. And that's probably really important, particularly in the first round, to go that route. Because if you want to invest in a guy that has the mental makeup to be successful. And it sounds like this guy's a really good leader according to his coaches. So that's another positive of drafting this kid. I thought it was hilarious. Jed York tweeted that out. Robert Saleh's back in the building. Trenches. I thought that was great. One
more positive for this, and we can get into some negatives too. But again, I just like how safe the pick is. I don't know that he's going to be a Hall of Famer or an All Pro, but this is a team that drafted Trey Lance. This is a team that drafted Javon Kinlaw and Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster. You can't get nothing out of this pick. You can't take a risk. And I feel like this is so not risky. He's a good football player. He's a good run defender. He has some power as a edge rusher. Would you want him to be your number one edge rusher? No, but he's not your number one edge rusher. He's your number two edge rusher. The line's going to be, what's the word? Sliding to Bosa. The chip's going to go to Bosa's side. This guy's going to get a lot of one-on-ones, and they're going to be putting him in games and putting him against over the guard. He's going to have opportunities, good ones. That doesn't mean he'll be a great player, but I still think he was a better pick than Walter Nolan. What do you think?
I don't know about Walter Nolan.
Walter Nolan went to the Cardinals.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I don't know. Walter Nolan seems to me, I was higher on Walter Nolan, to be real. But again, like, who knows? He might end up working out. But one thing I do know is the 49ers better put somebody next to him, because Aldon Smith wouldn't have been Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith was fantastic. He would not have been Aldon Smith without Justin Smith. And we've seen Nick Bosa struggling a little bit without a guy next to him. And they still have, to me, two holes that need to be filled on that interior of that defensive line. But I do think, again, D tackles best drafted in round 2 and round 3. You wouldn't have got the best value in round 1. So they got to go for that. I want Tyleik Williams in round 2. So that's my hope.
What's crazy about this D line is, like, you could actually have like a NASCAR package on third down where your pass rush is Bosa at 1D end, Gross Matos and Mykel Williams at D tackle, and some speed rusher they take in round 3 coming off the other end. Like, they could do interesting things. Mykel Williams isn't necessarily the type of edge rusher I would envision Gus Bradley coaching. Remember, he had like Bruce Irvin and Chris Clemens, like really Cliff Averill, like really small, explosive dudes. Maybe the Niners get that guy later in the draft, but they have options on the defensive line. And I wonder what their plan is at D tackle. Like, are they looking for a 3-down guy, or are they just going to rotate and platoon there? They could do that.
A couple other good things about him. I mean, he runs the same 40 time as Juwan Jennings. And he has huge hands, which is a big tool, underrated tool that you need on the defensive line, especially stopping the run, being able to grab guys and pull them down. And the 49ers' biggest weakness last year was being able to stop the run, and he has proven that he is a good stopper. So that part is definitely good. I think when we think defensive end, we think most about pass rush, and not as much about stopping the run. Maybe because we're used to Nick Bosa, but he is he might be a better run stopper than Nick Bosa.
I agree with that. It seems to me that if you're going to take a defensive player in round 1, that player needs to be good against the run. He needs to help your run defense, because that's been your biggest issue. And I think a big reason they don't have the sacks that they want is because their third downs probably are a little bit shorter than they should be. I could look at the numbers, but they should be in 3rd and 7, 8 and 9, not 3rd and 3, 4, 5. And the more they're in third and long as opposed to third and short and medium, they'll get more sacks. So I think I'm glad. I mean, if they had gotten Walter Nolan, I think he's going to be a good player for the Cardinals, but the Cardinals have a different front. They use a 5-man front. He's perfect in a 5-man front because he's not going to get double teamed. I love that pick for them, but for the 49ers, I prefer Mykel. And I just like that they made run defense a point of emphasis after last year when they had Leonard Floyd, Malik Collins, Javon Hargrave, just non-run defenders.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that he's going to be an improvement over who they have on the team, so that's good. He'll be a week 1 starter, and that's what you want from a first round pick. It is interesting, by the way, not to change subjects, but Jackson Dart just got drafted by the Giants.
Yeah, why don't we go through the picks real quick for people who are watching? If you just tuning in and you want to know who's been picked, let's go through it pick for pick. Number 1, Tennessee, Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami. Number 2, the Jaguars traded up from 5, took Travis Hunter. That was surprising. Giants, number 3, took Abdul Carter. Patriots, 4, Will Campbell. Browns, 5, Mason Graham, put him next to Myles Garrett. Raiders, 6, Ashton Genty, one of the best players in the draft. Jets, 7, Armand Membu. Panthers, 8, T-Mac, Tet McMillan. Saints, 9, Kelvin Banks Jr. I thought the Niners would take him. Maybe they would have if he'd fallen there, but Kyle says that Mykel Williams was their guy all along. Colston Loveland, 10, Bears. Interesting that Ben Johnson, that's his first pick. Niners take Mykel Williams. Cowboys, 12, Tyler Booker. Dolphins, 13, Kenneth Grant. Colts, 14, Tyler Warren. Falcons, 15, Jalen Walker. Cardinals, 16, Walter Nolan. Bengals, 17, Shamar Stewart. Seahawks, 18, Gray Zabel. Bucks, 19, Emeka Egbuka. Broncos, 20, Jade Barron. Steelers, 21, Derek Harmon. I like that pick. Chargers, 22, Omarion Hampton. Harbaugh taking a running back. Packers, 23, Matthew Golden. Vikings, 24, Donovan Jackson. Giants trade up to 25 and take Jackson Dart. Interesting. They trade 1 spot ahead of the Rams. And then once they make that pick, the Rams trade down and the Falcons are now on the clock. Makes me feel like the Rams were going to take Jackson Dart. What do you think of that pick?
That's wild. I think about this. If you're a coach and you draft Shedeur Sanders, you have the ultimate helicopter dad in Deion Sanders, who might just take your damn job in a year or two. So you're almost like putting your job at risk by drafting Shedeur. I think a lot of people are scared of that whole situation beyond just Shedeur himself. It's also dad. I really think that's real. And I love Deion Sanders as a player. But they made Shedeur a little entitled. They put him in the Hall of Fame in Colorado. He really doesn't deserve that, if I'm being honest.
That's true.
I think a lot of teams are scared of that. And if you're a coach, you might be drafting your replacement if you take the son. So
but if he's a second round pick, he won't really have that clout in the NFL anymore. Maybe you can take him down a peg and your owner isn't going to replace you because you didn't get the most out of your second round pick.
Oh, you're not taking that kid down a peg, man. He's got the confidence of his dad without the resume, which is, confidence is key.
He's a solid player, man. I don't know if he's going to be like an elite top 10 quarterback in the NFL, but he seems like the kind of guy who could have a lot of success on the right team on his rookie deal because he's not a project at all.
Especially now he's in later rounds, right? Like, or he's not like a top 10, top 15 pick. If he goes in this round, he's going to a team that did pretty well last year. So kind of puts him in a Brock Purdy type situation. I'm not out on him as a quarterback necessarily. I think just teams are scared of the whole situation. What about what the Browns did, dude? Like the Jaguars, they traded their pick in the first round. They swapped first round picks. The Jaguars, the Browns got the 5th overall pick, right? Excuse me. They got the 5th overall pick. They got the 2nd and 4th round picks and a first next year from the Jaguars.
That's too much. That's a lot to give up for Travis Hunter.
I like Travis Hunter. He's great, but he's not a quarterback.
Yeah, no, I'm not even sure what position he is. Is he a wide receiver? Or is he a cornerback? Is he both? Is he one or the other?
But I don't think you could be. It's like I don't think you can be great at both. Like that's very hard to do. So I think that was might end up being a mistake by the Jaguars. The Browns might have fleeced a team for once.
So the Falcons just took James Pierce, And so their picks in round 1 are Jalen Walker and James Pierce. I kind of love that.
They're going to be, they got a squad right
Those
there.
are pass rushers, but damn, those guys are super. Okay, I want to say one more. I want to go back to the Niners and Mykel Williams. Another thing I like about this pick, just the safeness of it. You're taking a Georgia defensive lineman. Now, you took Bob Beal, and he's not good, but he was a later pick. It seems in the last 2-3 years, Georgia players in the front 7 who were drafted in round 1, round 2 are essentially good to very good. And it's a A1 organization. There's a lot of like top tier coaches on the defense over there. And you've seen guys who were not middling, but like didn't put up big production at Georgia, come to the NFL, and all of a sudden it happened. So it's possible that there's something inherent about the scheme and the games that they're playing at Georgia that inhibits or reduces production. Possible.
A lot of rotation.
There was one thing though. Someone asked Kyle, like, so I mean, are you concerned about the lack of production for Mykel Williams? And he was like, well, what about his pressures? What are his pressures? He's like, I don't even know his numbers, first of all. But what are his pressures? I was like,
you don't know his
man.
numbers?
Probably not that great.
Come on, man. Come on.
So he said,
you know his numbers.
Yeah,
you know his
numbers, bro. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good and a bad thing, right? Like, being that we've never seen him in this system. And I do like Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator. Maybe they know the traits that they need to get a hell of a defensive end in the wide 9 scheme. But in college, he didn't run that scheme. He was 4-eye, rotational piece. Sometimes he came blitz from within the tackle. So it's all just anticipating what he could be versus, hey, we saw him doing this on tape. I think they see the traits and they believe that they can turn him into what they need him to be on this team in this defense. And so that's why for me, I'm a little apprehensive. Again, not saying he's not going to be good. I haven't seen it on film yet because I haven't seen him play the same type of defense he's going to be playing with 49ers.
I just think it's interesting. Like, to me, the league has changed so much. It's evolved. 10 years ago, I don't know that you take Mykel Williams at the 11th pick, because he's not enough of a pass rusher. He hasn't proven it yet. He has the potential. But 10 years ago, it was Brady and Peyton Manning and prime Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, and there was a lot of teams that would pass a lot. Now, the team that just won the Super Bowl, I mean, they pass sometimes, but they're never in a must-pass situation. 3rd down is a running down for them. 4th down is a running down for them. Like, you're never in a situation where you can, quote-unquote, pin your ears back and rush the quarterback against the Eagles. Almost never. So you really, I mean, like, as good as the Rams were last year, as good as their pass rush is, they got freaking mollywopped. At least their defense did, by the Eagles in the playoffs, because Saquon Barkley kept running for like 75-yard touchdowns. So I feel like, look, the Niners aren't in the Eagles' vicinity right now, but I like that they're building their team with an eye towards the best team in the league and matching up with them. And I feel like today the Niners match up with the Eagles a little bit better than they did yesterday.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he's an improvement of who they've had for sure. I mean, that he's going to start, and I think he's an improvement over who the 49ers have had the last couple of years. So they improved today. I will give him that much. And again, he could be fantastic. His ceiling is Alden Smith, right?
Right.
Right. His floor is
Cleveland Farrell.
Right. Like, so we don't know, man. I just got to see it play out. And I'm excited about the run stopping part of him.
All I know is if he finishes his rookie year with 3.5 sacks, no one's going to give a damn about his run defense. So there is a lot of pressure on him to produce, and it's not just on him. It's on Kyle and Saleh and Kasarik. You guys decided that he had the traits worth developing. You spend so much money on this defensive line coach. Make it happen. Because you didn't make it happen with Drake Jackson or Bob Beal.
Yeah, and one thing to watch with him is his endurance throughout the season. He hasn't played, he wasn't a 3-down guy at Georgia. He wasn't in, he was a rotational guy. And now they're going to be playing 17, possibly 18 games. That's going to be something to watch with him, making sure that he can, be effective throughout the year. That's a problem that Drake Jackson had, among many. But that's something also to watch with him.
It's going to be interesting to see like what the Niners' vision for him really is. Like, are you looking at him as an Alden Smith type, like a true 3-down edge rusher? Are you looking at him as almost like Eric Armstead, light, or Charles Omenihu, a guy who's an asset to your run defense on the edge on first and second down, but when it's really time to rush the quarterback, he's a defensive tackle. I don't know yet. And I think if they were to draft a big defensive tackle on day 2, that might indicate that they really want him on the edge. Or if they were to take, some type of speed rusher who's 235 pounds, maybe that indicates that they look at Mykel as more of an interior rusher when it's time to actually rush the quarterback. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing about him playing in Georgia. Just because he didn't do it in Georgia doesn't mean he won't actually, like, that could have been in like prohibiting him from being his full self, not being able to line up wide outside and just get after the quarterback. So he might actually be a better NFL player than he was in college. But again, it's the measurables that we're excited about when it comes to him, not necessarily the production.
Yeah, I think this guy has a potential to be a disappointment, a little bit like Mike McGlinchey. This is a similar pick to Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey was a really good run blocker when they took him, and that's why they took him. It's like, we're a run first team. We run a specific system. He's a perfect fit for the wide zone at right tackle. And it's like, cool, get that. I get it. But it's a passing league, isn't it? And when it's time to actually kick slide and pass protect, this guy is clunky and mechanical and slow and top heavy and weak. And it's like, how can you take this guy? He's totally like one dimensional. So if Mykel Williams is like the defensive end version of that, where you love the run defense, but when it's actually time to rush the quarterback, he's giving you like Solomon Thomas production, is not okay. And the thing about him is like McGlinchey, he could have a 10-year career in the NFL stuffing the run. But with the 11th pick in the draft, that's not enough. And he could end up on 3-4 teams in his career if he can't rush the quarterback.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But here's the other concern. Not necessarily about him in general, but just drafting defensive ends, wide receivers, highest bust rate of all first round draft picks statistically in the NFL. So because
you're looking at him with beer goggles, right? Like, oh, you kind of look like Alden Smith, but you're not.
I mean, what if the 49ers have had some misses on the defensive line in the first round under these guys? Outside of Nick Bosa, they've struggled with that. So, I mean, hopefully this is.
Now, to be fair, I feel like they've had more success at D end than D tackle. Although I still don't know what position Solomon Thomas played. I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a really good pass rusher, I feel like offensive linemen, you usually draft them in the beginning of the first round. Not all the time, but typically that's where you find them. So it makes sense, but a lot of misses in that area as well. He kind of reminds me of his potential, a little bit of Josh Sweat, kind of. Josh Sweat went up later on, but ended up, because of injury, and ended up developing into a great player. And I think he kind of reminds me of that potential.
Do you believe Kyle when he said he wanted Mykel all along? Or do you think the fact that 3 offensive tackles went off the board in the first 9 picks changed what the Niners were looking for?
Yeah, man, that definitely there's some implications with this pick, because possibly Simmons is still on the board, and I like him. He's injured, a bad, nasty injury, and he probably won't be really good until year 2. But he would have been the top offensive tackle in this draft had he not gotten injured. And so the 49ers it's a risk, because that injury is, I think, patella, something that's pretty bad. But if he can become healthy and get back to the way he used to be, he might end up being the steal of the draft.
Hey, maybe the Niners get him around 2.
Right. But outside of him, that's what I mean by implications. Outside of him, there's not many tackles left that I'm excited about. Now they can get some guards and some centers, but tackle, it seems like another year without drafting them at this point. I hope they go D tackle in round 2, because I think unless Simmons is there, I hope they go get like Mykel Williams. I think he's fantastic.
Let me ask you this: you're lukewarm on the Mykel. I can hear it. Based on your tone and your analysis, I'm thinking you give it a B at the highest, maybe a B minus.
Like B, maybe B. I mean B plus.
Okay.
I'm just
B plus.
I'm just trying to tell everybody about everything. It's
Fair enough.
not that I'm out on him. I'm just not sold on him.
No, that's a fair analysis. My question is, and I think this is something we can both ponder. Was he the best player available? Was there someone else you would have preferred? And when you look back on this draft in 3 years, is there someone else that they're going to be kicking themselves they didn't take?
I like Jalen Walker better. I like Walter Nolan better, personally. Again, I think this guy might have a higher ceiling. I just like those guys. And Shamar and Walter, I like them both, man. I like them both better, I think. And there might, corner, Barron would have been a good pick, although I don't think it was much of a need. So, I'm not mad at the pick. I'm not mad at it at all.
Here's the one pick that I like it, but I don't know if anyone else would agree with me, but Kenneth Grant, 13, Miami. I've liked him the whole time, and I think he's similar to Mykel Williams in the sense that it's like great run defender, different position, defensive tackle, but just a legit force against the run. And you're looking at him and Williams and thinking, can they develop as pass rushers? Is there anything there? And with Kenneth Grant, he might be less safe than Mykel. Like, even as a run defender, he's a little bit of a projection because sometimes he plays with high pads, and when he does that, he's not a particularly good run defender. But like, if he could put it all together, I think he'll be better than Mykel Williams. But that's the one guy I'm thinking, like, man, it's hard to find D tackles who fit the wide nine, and he does. And he's just as much of a project as Mykel. They're both really good football players. That's the one. But that's how I don't know.
What I like about Mykel is he really does have that high ceiling of potential, possibility. He's kind of like a boom or bust to me, and it could end up being the boom. As a Niner fan, that's what I hope happens. But he could just end up being, hey, I'm a measurable dude. I had measurables, but I never produced at a high enough level in college, and it didn't happen in the NFL either. I'm just throwing out the possibilities of, what could happen with this guy. Obviously, that's the case for everybody. I don't know. I feel like
I don't think he's a boom or bust. I think he's a boom, but a potential just solid player. Like, I don't think the floor is that low. I would compare him to Samson Ebukam. I mean, they're different body types, but like in the sense that like that's a guy who doesn't have that. He's not a big sack guy, but he's a legitimately good football player. He makes a positive impact. He makes your team better. Now, you wouldn't want to take him with the 11th pick, of course. But if that's your floor, you're still going to play. You're still going to be good. You're still going to make money. But yeah, you might be pissing off fans along the way, but still.
It's like Mike McGlinchey, right? Like, he didn't deserve to be picked 9th overall, but he had a solid career. That could be like the
and
floor.
They took him 9th because they thought he could move to left tackle. The Niners are taking Mykel Williams at 11 because they think he can be an edge rusher. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. So that's my fear. That's my caution. But again,
it's interesting. You said Jalen Walker is the guy he would go with. He's interesting. I wonder how the Falcons end up using him. Like, is he an edge rusher only, or are they actually going to play him at will?
He can get after the quarterback, man. I think he had 17, if I'm not mistaken, 17 sacks. Like, that's
Hey, can I piss you off real quick?
Yeah.
Lions just took Tyleik Williams.
Oh, of course they did. That's the guy I wanted the Niners to get in the second round. I mean, that's a great pick by Detroit, man. That dude is so athletic and monstrous. Man, that was I'm hoping Simmons is still on the board. So,
yeah, the Niners could take him. They could take Connerly. There's a few picks left in round 1. We got Washington, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philly. 4 picks left. Let's take some super chats as we wait for those picks to come in. Hog 20 says we gonna an injury guy. Very fitting. We got an injury guy.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, he played through an injury. It's a high ankle sprain. I mean, he didn't have surgery. People get hurt playing football. I don't think he's a medical red flag.
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, people do get hurt playing football. It happens. But he did have surgery, and he did have issue last year, but he played through it, which speaks to his toughness. And, he's a good character guy. We compare him to Alden Smith. One thing we know is character-wise, he's not Alden Smith. He's got it figured out. He's very mature. And the other great thing about him, he's only 20 years old. He's super young. He's going to be, I think, 21 by the time the season starts. But hell yeah.
Can I read you what the Niners wrote about him in his little bio? Okay, so real quick. Golden nuggets. I love this. This is the right here. It's always like what he's like off the field. Like some facts about him that are not football related, because everything else is like stats. Aspires to pursue a career in real estate after football. Currently is interested in purchasing homes and flipping them into Airbnb properties. 20 years old.
Hit me up, bro. Hit me up. I got you.
Yeah. You like that? Yeah. Austin Rodriguez says the best edge opposite Bosa since D Ford. Our trenches, what made Salah's defense great in 2019. This dude was best player edge available, ready to play now.
A lot of people like him, man. And he may be good.
I kind of like him.
Yeah.
Kind of like him. Boxing Fan Times Forces is a total project. He was a rotational player at Georgia. Can he be a 3-down guy or just first and second run defender? That's the other side.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a total project, though. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I think Shamar Stewart's a total project, and maybe he'll end up being a much better player, and it'll all work out. I think this guy is a great run defender right now. He's a project as a pass rusher. Shamar Stewart is not a football player right now. He's an athlete.
I will say he's a great run defender right now, but in the 4-eye technique, not necessarily wide 9, which is different. That's a lot of – he likes real estate. He's going to have to cover a lot of real estate in this defense. So
yeah, I like that. Grant, good name, says only 20. So by 23, he could hold out and get 30. Adam K says, I don't like the pick, Grant. I agree. Solomon Thomas 2.0. Solomon Thomas was 6'3", 267. So not as tall. He didn't have length. To me, Solomon Thomas was a workout warrior. He had a great combine. And he had like 1 year, like 8 sacks at Stanford playing D tackle, and they drafted him to play God knows what. I don't know. I never understood that pick. Yeah, I think they saw Aaron Donald to him or something. They were tripping.
Here's the thing that I think the Niners sometimes value in your intelligence and your character a little too high. And that's what Solomon Thomas was.
Yeah.
Dude, was smart, great personality, great character. But like, as long as you're not getting arrested, I don't really give a damn as long as you're a talented football player, right? Like, that's more important to me. I'm sorry.
Well, here's what I heard about Walter Nolan, who was pretty much the Niner fans' like preferred pick. He's a little entitled, is what I heard. And he's been coddled a little bit in college, which probably isn't, unique to him. But he's the kind of guy, at least in college, who would like expect days off from practice. Like, I'm not practicing today. Like, he's Trent Williams. Like, he's 37 years old. Like, that's not going to fly on this team. Kyle wouldn't let it happen. Salah wouldn't let it happen. And if that's the kind of guy they think he is, I'm not surprised they didn't take him. Maybe they're too strict with that kind of stuff. But, yeah, they want guys who love football.
Yeah, especially your first round guys. It totally makes sense. I understand why they do that, but it can't be the main thing.
You got to keep the main thing, as the coach would say.
Right, yeah.
Adam K says we lost the Super Bowl on Purdy's final pass. Jennings was wide open. Offensive line broke down. That moment will stick with me forever. We need a stud O-lineman. Well, to me, if Banks had been on the board and they had taken Mykel Williams, I wouldn't have liked the pick as much for what he just said. But he wasn't on the board. He was gone. And I wouldn't have liked taking Gray Zabel at 11 and hoping he could play offensive tackle. I wouldn't like that.
Let me ask you another question, another way to look at it. Besides Nick Bosa, you got 2 defensive tackles on the inside and your tier gross models on the outside. Out of your tier gross models and whoever they're going to have on the inside, who's the strongest out of those 3?
Dude, I don't know. Jordan Elliott, Evan Anderson.
I'd say your tour is better than – your tour is a better defensive end than those guys are defensive tackles.
Maybe the Niners are going to try a new thing where they have no defensive tackles on the field ever. Just DNs. The super wide 9. Yeah, everyone's outside and no one's in the A or B gap. I love that. Yeah. Or the C gap. Joseph Friel says, I don't want to hear any comps to Armstead. Plantar fasciitis is an injury brought by misdevelopment of foot strength, so the offseason hike barefoot.
There you go. Hike barefoot.
I feel it. Chief Blitz says, Grant, does Shador fall to the Niners? I don't think Shador is going to fall to 43, but it'll be him and Tyler Shug at the beginning of round 2. I don't think the Niners are going to trade their quarterback, whose name I won't mention, to the Titans.
Hey, the Commanders just got Josh Connerly Jr. offensive from Oregon.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a nice little pick right there.
The Niners
could have had him at 11, but
they're going to draft like guard hybrid in like round 5. The Niners.
Ugh. Joseph for real says, I want to avoid all our players getting degenerative injuries by rushing back from injury and missing basic development process. Toes to earth equals grit. This dude always has so much wisdom, man. I appreciate you, Joseph, for real. El Maestro says, we lit.
We are lit in this piece.
So lit. Stephen Pryor says, you've both talked draft with Larry. Why is Larry's take on Mykel wrong?
Larry's not a big fan of Mykel. He thinks
he might be right. I don't know. Yeah. He might be right. He's a big Shamar Stewart fan. And I feel like while they're similar prospects, like they're like dueling. It's like the Montagues and the Capulets. It's like West Side Story. You know what I mean? The Jets and the Sharks. They just don't like each other.
Hey, man, Larry spends a ton of time on the draft analysis. So, you know, I think he's concerned about the production not being there. But that doesn't mean necessarily that he won't be able to produce. He might produce better in the wide 9. So
I think his argument is, and he's got a good argument, like, okay, he doesn't have the production and he doesn't have the elite athleticism. So what does he have? And Shamar Stewart has the elite athleticism. So at least there's something. Mykel has neither. But what he has is really good tape.
I mean,
really good tape. He went to Georgia.
He's 6'5", 267, 4.77 40, which is not bad. And he has a 1.61 10-yard split. That's also pretty damn good. So it's not like he's not an athlete.
Yeah, compare his measurables to Alden Smith, Nick Bosa. I mean, he's not slow. He's not small. He has long arms.
34 and 3.
And again, like, did Jalen Carter put up big numbers at Georgia? Did Nolan Smith put up big numbers at Georgia? Did Trayvon Walker put up big? No one does. And they all end up being pretty good. So
huge hands. He definitely has the measurables. You can't argue the measurables or the athleticism to me. Techniques needs to improve on pass rush side. So, I mean, he could possibly be really good. Who knows?
You like his hands?
Amazing hands.
Jater Whedon says, trade Purdy for a second, use it to get Jihad. Who could they trade him to at this point? Not Tennessee, not the Giants. Cleveland? Pittsburgh.
I won't say it.
New Orleans.
I'll keep
the SNS show says Alden Smith 2.0. He was a project that worked out. Same 40 times, same body. This is a high ceiling. I would have been happy with Jalen Walker.
I would have been happy.
Johnny
with
C says Brock is horse meat at a filet mignon price. Yeah, that was
horse meat
rough.
Jeez.
Okay, let's cleanse our palate from that one for a second and do some prize picks. Shift over. We'll come back to the Niners picks in a minute, but we got some Warriors picks. We got crisis mode for the Warriors. Jimmy Butler, severely butthurt. He's got a grade 2 butthurt. That hurts. I don't know if you've ever been that butthurt, but it'll get you. So Podziemski, he got some bad. I don't know who gave him food poisoning in Houston, but they probably saw the white boy with the curly hair and said that guy's on the Warriors. We're taking him down.
You know who I'd bet on right now is Kuminga, because his numbers may be skewed because he hasn't been playing, but he might be the one to play for Butler.
They won't give us the Kuminga. They were thinking just like you.
Yeah.
Who we got? Podziemski, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, who may not play, Moses Moody, Curry, and that's it.
Let's go, Steph. Let's go, Steph.
Okay, Steph. Stephen Curry.
On the points. Where's he at?
Points, 26.5.
Easy.
At home? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go to the Jimmy Butler well, or do you want to just avoid that?
Well, if he doesn't play, then
I think we get a free play. I think we're good. Yeah.
So let's go with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say less points.
Less points. Yep. See, that's just a savvy pick right there. I mean, he's gonna be probably compromised a little bit. What about Draymond, the triple single himself?
Draymond, give him what's his assist? Rebounds and assists, 11.5. I'm going more on that.
Bingo. Okay. All right, Draymond. And then Pods. So let's finish it up with Pods, and then we'll do one. We'll do Jalen Green just because he gave your kid 24 points once upon a time?
He did. My kid had to guard Jalen Green in high school. Insane.
Where did he go to high school? Merced?
I don't know where he went to school. They played him at some tournament in Fresno. Is where they played him. Yeah.
Pods, 13.5 points.
He was sick last game. Is he better now?
I
don't know. I'm gonna say
less.
Yeah, kind of feel like less.
What about rebounds though? He's a rebounding machine.
Let's give him. I feel like less on points is the way to go.
Less on points. All right, that's fine. And then let's do Rockets and then get back to football.
Okay.
Rockets. Jake Sengun, man, he's just been destroying Draymond in this series.
Yeah.
Is that sacrilegious to say?
Yeah, it's accurate.
How about him? 19.5 for Sengun.
I'm going to say, what about Jalen? Let's go to Jalen. Can we look at Jalen?
Jalen. Where you at, Jalen? Oh, it's alphabetical. Got it. L is after B. There it is. Got it. Okay. 20.5 points for Jalen.
Give him the more. Damn. For sure.
He's locked in?
Yep.
No, I didn't. Who asked you? Where'd you go? Okay. Wait a second. Boom. There you are. But I want to get Sengun. What do you think? 19.5?
F it. Why not?
Why not? All right. Submitting the lineup. That's how we do over at PrizePicks. Use promo code Cohn, COHN. Put down $5. Whether you win or lose, you get $50 if it's your first play. And, I get good things too because they sponsor me. And if you want to help me out, help me out like that. Appreciate it. Michael McBurney says, why did we not like James Pierce? Second best grades as an edge. See, this is an interesting pick. I feel like 10 years ago, he's the pick, but he's a one-trick pony. He's not going to help your run defense. 10 years ago, you'd be like, I don't freaking care. It's a passing league. Now it's like, I kind of care.
That's the thing I do like about this pick is the Niners were horrible against the run last year and not great the year before. So they need to get back to that. And that is a good reason that we got Mykel.
And it's like, if you just wanted an edge rusher who will give you 8, 9, 10 sacks and run defense won't be much of a priority for them, you could have just kept Leonard Floyd.
It's true. Yeah.
That's what he gave you. Didn't he go to Atlanta?
Who, Floyd?
Yeah.
I think so. Actually, let me check.
So they have Leonard Floyd, Jalen Walker, and James Pierce.
Yeah.
Talk about a team that doesn't give two shits about defending the run. But I kind of like it.
Yeah, man. And our kick return, remember?
Ray.
Little Ray Ray.
That team might be actually kind of good if Michael Penix Jr. is good.
They did great in the draft, man. They did great in the draft.
Shady Luke says, you guys not taking an O-line in the first has me hype. Lynch and Shanahan do not value the O-line, and it will burn them. Okay. That's a great point. They could have traded up for Kelvin Banks Jr. They could have taken Gray Zabel, or they could have taken Tyler Booker. Booker went 12.
What about Josh Connerly?
They could have taken Josh Connerly. That would have been a hell of a reach, but maybe he's really good.
Here's what I would
Booker though.
Here's what I wanted to do was trade down and get Simmons. But if they still pull it off, that would have been a stupid pick. So we'll see.
Eagles are on the clock right now. I'm curious to see who they take, and then the Kansas City Chiefs will wrap it up. Bills took cornerback Maxwell Hairston. We'll see who the Eagles take right now.
Not messing with Shedeur Sanders.
Look, all I know is Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated, shout out SI, predicted this last week. He said Shedeur is dropping out of the first round. Makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like if the NFL does think he has an entitlement issue, well, you can't be a first-round pick. You need to get it out the mud like every other day 2 pick, and maybe that'll be good for him.
Yeah, I don't remember what Dion was like coming out, coming into the NFL, but he earned the right to have that confidence and that cockiness. I just haven't seen Shedeur do anything to earn the right for it yet. Doesn't mean he won't be.
There's a really interesting story about Deion Sanders. He was projected to go very high in the draft. He had a meeting with the Giants. They brought him into his facility. And back then, the Giants used to have, I believe, every draft prospect that they brought in to visit fill out like a whole, not a test, but like a whole questionnaire to like figure out if you really fit their culture. And I think Dion, from what I heard, Dion looked at it and was like, I'm not touching that. And they're like, well, you got to do it. And he was like, you guys aren't even in a position to draft me. Like, get lost. So that was Dion. I kind of liked it. Like, don't waste my freaking time, man. This is stupid.
Well, what makes that story great is that he followed through with a career that backed it up. Now, what's going to happen with Shedeur? We'll see.
Yeah, it's true, man. John Lynch admitted that he tried to trade up for Mykel to Stephen Pryor. It didn't work, and they still got him. So almost gave away picks doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a great thing to admit.
Is it true? I never know if they're telling the truth. I almost feel like you say that because it's like, oh, people were worried. People might think that he was our second choice or that we reached. No. He was our guy all along. We almost traded up for him, but God, we really lucked out. You just ended up. It's the best thing that ever had. A+ pick.
I don't think that's I would have kept that one to the vest.
You kept that one to yourself.
Yeah, I think I would have. Yeah, we tried to waste draft capital, but we weren't able to.
Yeah, we really wanted to just throw away picks, but worked out in our favor. Shady Luke says 2 first-round quarterbacks from the same school up my street here in Utah. Pretty crazy. Jackson Dart and Zach Wilson. I wasn't aware that Jackson Dart's from Utah.
Shady,
I'm down on him now.
Are you a Draper kid, Shady Luke? I used to live in Sandy for like 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Slow Civic says Ryan should take his initial out. He ain't no G. Oh my goodness.
Damn.
That's messed up.
It actually does not stand for gangster, though. It's my middle name. So
what does it stand for?
I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah.
Graham.
No, Gregory. You'll never guess my middle name. It's my mom's maiden name. You'll never.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep guessing. Gabriel Suarez says, in my opinion, there won't be any valuable O-line or D-line player at 43. I would rather see the Niners go wide receiver or secondary rather than reaching for trenches players. I disagree.
There won't be.
I think there will be good players in the trenches at 43.
There's some good. I gotta go look at it now that my guy's gone because I was like dead set on getting Tyreek.
Oh my God, can I piss you off? Eagles. Who do you think they took?
I know they took Simmons. I was gonna say that.
No. Defense.
Oh, who'd they take? What? It's not showing up on mine yet. I don't know. Who'd they take?
Linebacker. Jihad.
Yeah, he's gonna be good.
Yeah,
he's gonna be good. That's a good pick. Hey, if the Eagles pick him, it's a good pick. Eagles, man.
I mean, he may not be able to play right away, but they don't really need him to play right away. And it feels like he's the kind of guy who could have been taken in the top 15 if he hadn't had surgery. Maybe his body's breaking down. Maybe this is risky, but if there's a team that can take a risk on a medical red flag in round 1, it's this team at this spot. So I kind of like it.
Mr. Joe said, if the Eagles get Jihad, I'm going to be pissed. They got him, so be pissed.
Do you think Mike Green's getting drafted?
Yeah.
Eventually. He's too good not to, right?
Yeah, he's too talented.
I just feel like whatever, like these teams do background checks. They're not, I mean, they're very sophisticated and they have a lot of resources. I just feel like whatever they learned may not have been so good for Mike Green because he's not getting a whiff.
They seem like a team that doesn't give a damn. They might grab
That's true. If the Chiefs pass on you, it's bad. The Bengals passed on you. They don't have any moral compass.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Austin Rodriguez says, what are we going to address on day 2? That's the question. What are they going to address on day 2? Not the end.
They got to go interior of that defensive line. Unless, again, if Simmons is there, I know it's kind of a wasted year pick because I don't think they necessarily need him this year or that he'll even be ready to be 100% this year. But Simmons' ceiling, if he can be healthy, is great. I would risk it. I would take a flyer on Simmons as a tackle replacement if he's there in round 2 for sure.
What about if Sanders is there at 43?
They're not doing it. They're not.
No,
they're not. So they're set on Brock. A report came out today. It's going to happen soon, apparently. I don't know if you saw that.
Inching closer to it, according to Diana Rossini. And the way she put it is she thinks that the Niners are eventually going to give him a contract that makes him one of the top 10 highest paid players in the league in terms of annual average value, which means 51, 52, 53 million, something like that. But it doesn't mean he'll be top 10 in fully guaranteed money. And I wonder if Brock cares. I wonder if that's a sticking point for Brock, because what the Packers did last year for Love, they gave him $55 million a year. That technically makes him tied for the second highest paid player in the league, but his fully guaranteed money ranks him 11th. And I feel like that's, here's the 5 for your ego, but the real, I mean, it's really a 3-year deal that's backloaded, and you're not going to get those last 2 years. So you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's a 3-year deal, and we'll talk to you after that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fugazi in NFL contracts.
Very
right?
much. Yeah.
It's really about years guaranteed and total dollars guaranteed. Nothing else really means much outside of that. So that's what really matters, and we'll see.
To me, that's how the Niners do business. They make you sweat, and then they'll eventually cave on the annual average value, which to them, I think, is just about the player's ego. Like, you need some number that looks good in a headline. All right, we'll make you sweat it, and then we'll finally cave and give you that. But the concession you'll have to make is going to be about guaranteed money. And bet on yourself, right? I mean, Kaepernick did when they signed that awful contract with the Niners 10-something years ago. I wonder if Brock will go for that, or if he's like, nah, man, it's not good enough. We have an issue here with the guaranteed money. I feel like if this could have been done already, if the guaranteed money wasn't a thing for Brock. I bet they're pretty close on the annual average value.
Yeah, I don't think Brock is. I don't think he has a big ego. I think Brock's probably pretty close to satisfied with whatever he's getting. I think it's his agent that's really fighting for everything at this point. I think it'll get done, and it will be fairly soon.
I think it'll be done before training camp, but knowing the Niners, it'll get done July 26th.
Right. The last minute.
Showtime says, need to go O-line next. We have to address tackle before it's too late. Yeah, I'm still not sold that Trent Williams is playing ever again. I'd like to see him say that, or just see him in person once. But we'll see what they do next. Shady Luke says, I won't say where, Ryan, but I'm in Utah County. Sandy ain't bad. Apparently, Shady Luke is in witness protection.
He's in Provo. That's basically what that means. No, I'm just kidding, Shady. I'm just guessing. Yeah.
He's running from the feds, man.
I'm just guessing. It could be false, Shady Luke.
Okay, we're going to end this soon, but I want to know who the Chiefs take before we finish. They're on the clock, and they need to make a pick. Who do you think they're going to take?
No clue.
I have no freaking clue. Who's the best player available? Will Johnson hasn't been picked. Mike Green hasn't been picked.
Will Johnson being available is surprising. I thought he would be taken a lot earlier.
Luther Burden, Matthew Golden. Yeah, they got some good guys.
A lot of people had Will Johnson at the second best corner in this draft. And there's
NFL.com has him as the sixth highest graded player in the draft.
Yeah, at the highest player, right? So
regardless of position.
I'm surprised. There must be something behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know.
All I can tell you, I think, one, the injuries are an issue. He had turf toe. But from what I heard, this was a little nugget I got at the combine. This is like third hand. So take it with a grain of salt. But from what I heard, the Michigan coaches, because like coaches will go to other coaches, like, the Niners or whomever will go to the Michigan coaches and be like, so what do you think of Will Johnson? And apparently they crushed him.
That's messed up.
Crushed him. Like he kind of quit on us and he could have played, but he didn't. I don't know if it's true. That's what I heard. I'm not surprised to see him falling. When your own coaches crush you, you know who crushed? Richard Sherman was a 5th round pick. From what I heard, Harbaugh crushed him. He had a thing against him. Like, he played wide receiver at Stanford. I think he shut himself down because he needed to get surgery, and Harbaugh was pissed and told him, You'll never play.
Chiefs just took Simmons. Chiefs just took Simmons. Oh my God. That's who I wanted the 49ers to trade back for. That's what I said. The Chiefs just did it. That makes me feel like I was right.
Yeah, they got Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons. So Jalen Moore can be like, the Band-Aid, and then when Josh Simmons is ready, it's his job.
Dude, Simmons is going to be hella good in a year from now. Second year. Yeah.
All right, so let's just go through it and look at the teams that took offensive linemen in round 1. Patriots took Will Campbell. Jets took Armand Membu. Saints took Kelvin Banks. Seahawks took Gray Zabel. Vikings took Donovan Jackson. Commanders took Josh Connerly. Chiefs take Josh Simmons. It's easy not to take an offensive lineman, but you got to do it eventually. And once again, the Niners didn't. I think they got a really good player, but another year goes by, no offensive lineman. I think they got to take one in round 2. Definitely no later than round 3. But now in round 2, like, what tackle are you getting? Not who. Let's look. I mean, which offensive tackle is available? Who are we talking about? Ozzie Trapillo. I mean,
he's a big dude, not bad.
Okay, you can get Ariante Ursary. You could get, I mean, whatever. Whatever. You're already, I mean, you missed him. If you want to get a guard, you could get a guard. Maybe they'll get a guard in round 2. I don't know.
The Chiefs.
Oh, well.
The Chiefs got, man, watch. His sophomore season.
It kills me about, like, when people were killing Kelvin Banks all offseason. It's like, dude, you don't understand. It's the NFL. He plays tackle and doesn't get hurt. He's going top 10. Like, the market for offensive linemen in the NFL is awful. If you can play the position for 17 weeks and not get hurt, $20 million a year. That's baseline. Because there's like not many people who exist who can do it for whatever reason.
I mean, look at what the Chiefs do. Look at what the Eagles do. What they do, I trust at this point. Eagles got Jihad, and Chiefs got Simmons. I've been saying trade down in the first round and get Josh Simmons. That's what I've been saying the 49ers need to do. That's what they should have done, in my opinion. It's no disrespect to Mykel Williams, but the timing was perfect.
To me, though, like, those two guys have big medical red flag question marks. And for the Niners, they kind of needed to, like, play it safe because they kind of suck at drafting in round 1. And their misses are a big reason why they were 6-11 last year to begin with. But Eagles and Chiefs in round 1, kind of not in position to take difference makers. Yeah. Like, Jihad Campbell would have been a top 15 pick if he hadn't gotten hurt. Same with Josh Simmons. So those two teams have an opportunity to get like a blue chip player at good,
Here's the thing, though. The Niners have Colton McKivitz and Trent Williams supposedly at tackle right now. They were in the perfect position to take a player they can give a year who would be a blue chip type player. If Josh Simmons is healthy, he's going to be a top tackle in this league, in my opinion. He's that good.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think the Niners have some self-awareness. They don't have the best training staff. I mean, players say, like, they're really good strength and conditioning, coaching. They get high marks in everything except training staff and training room. Maybe they feel like we're just not the organization to bring this guy back fully. Like, we tried with Drake Jackson. We're failing. Like, we've had a real tough time with this particular injury. Maybe the Chiefs know how to handle it, but we don't.
That's true. That's a good point. We'll see. But if he
maybe
becomes
a better training staff,
if he becomes a healthy tackle in the NFL, I'm going to be pissed.
And they went offensive line last year too. Like, they're not messing around. They took Kingsley Suamataia, right? They're trying. Niners really aren't. Shady Luke says Provo, Ryan. You called for that.
Hey, you never know, brother.
Hey. All right. Well, I'm going to get home. That's the night. The Niners took a safe pick. See if it works out. They got 3 picks tomorrow.
That'll be good.
3 picks. So I'll be back. It'll be a long night. And Ryan, your internet was A+ all night until right now. So I just want to give you a hand.
It's bad right now? I'm just
it felt that the show's over. It knows.
I was reading, somebody says, hey, Ryan, I have a property for sale. Do you do any listings? Yes, hit me up, brother. Hit me up, RyanGHensley.com.
That's what he does, man. What are you thinking? Of course. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Get ready for the Niners to take Shadur Sanders in round 2. You heard it here first.